It was one of those freezing winter mornings in Toronto. The kind of morning where the streets looked silent, almost lifeless. Snow had covered the sidewalks. Cars were buried under layers of ice. The wind felt sharp enough to cut through skin. And while millions of people were still sleeping peacefully in warm homes, a man named Daniel was already awake. The clock on the wall showed 4:17 a.m. Daniel slowly opened his eyes, staring at the cracked ceiling above his bed. The room was cold. Not the normal kind of cold. The kind of cold that reminds you life has not been easy. His apartment was a tiny basement room he rented in an old neighborhood. The heater barely worked. The walls were damp. The kitchen sink leaked constantly. And sometimes, he could hear rats scratching behind the walls at night. But none of that bothered him anymore. Because pain had become familiar. At 27 years old, Daniel's life looked like failure from the outside. No college degree. No expensive car. No social status. No family wealth. No powerful connections. Just endless bills. And a job society considered invisible. Every morning by 5:30, Daniel would leave his apartment wearing an old winter jacket with a broken zipper. Then he would walk nearly 30 minutes through the freezing streets to catch a bus downtown. His destination: a massive corporate office building in the center of the city. That building represented everything he didn't have. Luxury. Success. Power. Money. Inside those glass towers worked executives making more money in one day than Daniel earned in an entire month. And Daniel, he cleaned their floors. Every day. Every night. He emptied garbage bins. Cleaned bathrooms. Mopped hallways. Wiped fingerprints off expensive glass walls. And watched successful people walk past him like he didn't exist. Some didn't even look at him. Others treated him like background furniture. As if he were part of the building itself. Invisible. And if someone had looked at Daniel that day, they would have seen nothing special. Just another tired janitor trying to survive. But what nobody knew was that Daniel carried a secret dream so powerful. It refused to die. You see, Daniel didn't see himself as a janitor. Not permanently. Deep inside, he believed he was meant for something bigger. Something extraordinary. Every single night while cleaning empty offices, Daniel wore old headphones. But he wasn't listening to music. No. He listened to audiobooks. Business lessons. Entrepreneur interviews. Stories of people who built companies from nothing. While wiping floors, he was learning marketing. While collecting trash, he was learning finance. While everyone saw a poor worker, Daniel was building a future version of himself. Quietly. Patiently. And nobody noticed. Until one night. It was almost 11:40 p.m. Most employees had already gone home. Only a few executives remained in a conference room after a late business meeting. Daniel entered to clean coffee cups left on the table. As he quietly worked, one executive looked at him and laughed. The man wore an expensive suit that probably cost more than Daniel's monthly salary. He looked directly at Daniel and said something that froze the room. He said, "Daniel, why do you always look so serious?" Daniel stayed silent. Then the man smiled and said, "People like you should stop dreaming big." Everyone in the room laughed. Then he continued, "Be realistic. People born at the bottom usually stay at the bottom." The words landed like knives. Daniel felt heat rise in his chest. His hands tightened. For a moment, something inside him broke. That night during the bus ride home, he stared silently through the frozen window. The city lights blurred against falling snow. And for the first time in years, doubt entered his mind. Maybe they were right. Maybe life had already chosen winners. Maybe success was reserved only for people born lucky. Maybe dreams were dangerous. Then suddenly, a memory returned. It was his father. Years ago, Before cancer took his life, Daniel remembered sitting beside his father in a hospital room. His father looked weak, but his voice remained strong. He had grabbed Daniel's hand and said something unforgettable. "Son, promise me one thing. Never allow another human being to decide how small your future should be." Daniel closed his eyes. And in that moment, everything changed. He made a decision. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more fear. From that night forward, his life became war. Every single day followed the same brutal routine. Wake up at 4 a.m. Work janitor shifts for 10 exhausting hours. Return home. Eat cheap instant noodles. Study until 2 or 3 in the morning. Sleep for barely 3 hours. Repeat. Day after day. Week after week. Month after month. He stopped attending parties. Stopped meeting friends. Deleted social media. He became obsessed. Most people thought he had lost his mind. But Daniel understood a truth very few people understand. Average people seek comfort. Successful people seek growth. The difference changes everything. Months passed. He saved every dollar he could. No vacations. No expensive clothes. No entertainment. Eventually, he had enough money to launch his first online business. He believed it would change everything. He worked for weeks. Designed a website. Created offers. Launched advertisements. And waited. Nothing happened. No customers. Zero sales. His savings disappeared. Failure. Most people would quit. Daniel didn't. He started again. Second project. Another failure. Third project. Failed again. Fourth attempt. Failure. Fifth attempt. Failure. Months turned into years. Nearly 100 failures. Imagine that. 100 moments where life said no. 100 opportunities to give up. And yet, he continued. Because Daniel understood something powerful. Failure is not proof that you should stop. Failure is proof that you are learning. Then came December. 3 years after he made that promise to himself. Outside, snow was falling again. Strangely, it looked exactly like the night everything changed. Daniel launched one final business idea. A small consulting service helping local businesses improve online sales. This time he felt different. Not excited. Not nervous. Just calm. Because he had stopped chasing success. And started becoming the kind of person success follows. Days passed. Nothing happened. 1 week. Silence. 2 weeks. Still nothing. 3 weeks. Daniel sat staring at his laptop screen. Exhausted. Emotionally empty. Then suddenly, a notification sound broke the silence. New email. His heart started racing. He opened the message. Someone wanted to hire him. His first client. $500. For nearly 10 seconds. He simply stared. Not moving. Not breathing. And then, tears rolled down his face. Not because of the money. $500 was small. He cried because life had finally whispered something beautiful. Keep going, you are closer than you think. That small victory changed everything. 1 client became 2. 2 became 10. 10 became 50. Months later, his income crossed $10,000 a month. Then $20,000. Then $50,000. And one unforgettable day, Daniel walked into his manager's office, placed a resignation letter on the desk, and smiled. His janitor days were over. But life had one final surprise waiting for him. 2 years later, the same corporate office building where Daniel once cleaned floors invited him back. But this time, not as an employee, as a guest entrepreneur speaker. Hundreds of professionals sat in the audience. Executives, managers, investors, Successful people. And sitting quietly in the front row was the same man who once laughed at him. The same man who said, "People like you stay at the bottom." Daniel looked at him and smiled. Not with anger. Not with revenge. Because he had learned the greatest lesson life teaches only a few. Never allow someone else's limited thinking to define your unlimited potential. So remember this. Right now, you may feel lost, invisible, ignored, undervalued. Maybe nobody believes in you. Maybe people laugh at your dreams. Maybe life feels unfair. But listen carefully. Success does not care where you start. It does not care how broke you are. It does not care how many times you fail. The only thing success respects is persistence. Every legend was once unknown. Every millionaire once struggled. Every champion once lost. The difference? They refused to stop. And if you keep moving forward, one day, the world that ignored you will ask how you did it. And when that moment comes, your results will speak louder than every doubt you ever had. Because never forget this truth. Your beginning will never decide your ending. Only your decision to keep going will.